All right, so we've got a deep dive today, and I'm pretty excited about this one.
Yeah, this should be interesting. Lots of folks have been asking about this.
Exactly. We're talking about Prime Biome.
That's the
You
one.
guys sent us tons of info.
Yeah.
So we've got a whole document here all about the ingredients, what it's supposed to do and all that good stuff.
Yeah, particularly for like skin and gut health. There's even some scientific references sprinkled in. It's
Mhm.
pretty interesting.
So our mission today, if you choose to accept it, is to really sift through all this stuff and see, like, what does it all mean?
Right. What's the story this document is trying to tell us about Prime Biome? How is it supposed to work, at least according to what they're presenting here?
Perfect. Love it. Let's jump in.
Let's do it.
Okay, so first up on the ingredient list,
Yeah.
Bacillus coagulans.
Ah, yes. Bacillus coagulans.
And they're really highlighting this for like digestive support. They're calling it a beneficial bacteria.
Which is a term we hear a lot these days.
We do, we do. But what does the research actually say about this particular bacteria? Like, is it really all that?
Well, based on the studies they've referenced here, there's definitely some evidence to suggest it can be beneficial, especially for folks dealing with certain gut issues.
Okay, like what kind of issues?
So, IBS, for example, irritable bowel syndrome. Specifically, they're pointing to its potential to help with symptoms like diarrhea.
Ah, so if you're struggling with that.
Yeah, it seems like this could be something that might provide some relief. At least that's what some of the research suggests.
Interesting, interesting. So more than just general gut health, they're saying it could potentially target specific IBS symptoms.
Right. And it's not just limited to IBS either. There's some research looking at its effects on just general bowel symptoms like, discomfort and things like that.
Gotcha. So kind of a multi-pronged approach to gut health, potentially.
Exactly. And what's kind of cool is that some of the research goes even deeper, trying to figure out how this Bacillus coagulans actually works in the gut.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so they looked at its impact on the balance of bacteria in the gut, specifically in older individuals.
Okay.
And it seems like it might help increase the levels of good bacteria like Faecalibacterium prausnitzii.
Faecalibacterium prausnitzii.
Yeah, it's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is.
But it's one of those like key players in a healthy gut.
Gotcha.
So the fact that this Bacillus coagulans might boost its levels is, pretty significant.
So for those of us who may not be familiar with Faecalibacterium prausnitzii,
Yeah.
what exactly does it do? Why is it so important for a healthy gut?
Well, it's a type of bacteria that produces butyrate.
Butyrate.
Yeah, and butyrate is a like short chain fatty acid. It's basically fuel for the cells lining your colon.
So it's keeping our guts healthy, literally feeding them.
Exactly. And it's also been linked to reducing inflammation in the gut and, even potentially protecting against certain diseases.
Wow. Okay, so Bacillus coagulans may be something to keep an eye on for gut health, especially if you're dealing with diarrhea-predominant IBS or just looking for some overall gut support.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's worth looking into at least.
Absolutely. Let's move on down the list. Next up, we've got Babchi.
Okay, gee, interesting.
It's listed under dermal balance, which is interesting.
Mhm.
Clearly, they're connecting this one
Mhm.
to skin health.
Right, right. And the placement of it in this document definitely implies that it's supposed to have some kind of positive impact on the skin.
But they don't really give us specifics on how Babchi actually works for the skin.
Unfortunately not. It's a bit of a mystery, at least based on what we've got here.
So they could be an area for, like, further research.
Absolutely.
Right.
If you're intrigued by those skin-related claims, definitely worth digging a little deeper into the research on Babchi.
Okay, noted. Next, we have dandelion.
Dandelion, now that's one we all know.
Yeah, the ubiquitous dandelion. But this one's interesting because they've got it listed under both dermal balance and digestive support. So it's doing double duty here.
It is. It seems like a bit of an overachiever.
It does. So what's the science behind that? Like, why would dandelion be good for both our gut and our skin?
Well, the references here suggest a couple of possibilities.
Okay.
For one, dandelion is a diuretic, meaning it helps your body get rid of excess water.
Oh, like a natural.
Exactly, a natural diuretic.
Interesting.
And that could play a role in overall balance within the body, which might indirectly benefit the skin.
Okay, but how about directly? Like, is there anything suggesting it works on the skin itself?
Yeah, actually there is. One of the studies they mentioned looked at the effects of dandelion root on skin fibroblasts.
Fibroblasts, what are those?
They're cells that are really important for producing collagen and elastin. You know those things that keep your skin like firm and elastic?
Nice. The things we lose as we age.
Exactly.
Dandelion root might be able to, like, boost those.
Well, that's what the study suggests, at least in a lab setting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's more than just a weed in your yard.
Right.
It might actually be doing something beneficial for your skin.
Exactly. And beyond that, the document also points to its general nutritional and antioxidant benefits,
Ooh, right.
which, can be beneficial for overall health.
Of course, yeah.
And by extension, potentially your skin as well.
Right, because healthy body, healthy skin.
Exactly. And there's even a mention of some traditional uses, like historically people have used dandelion for various medicinal purposes.
That's cool. So dandelion's got a long history of use.
It does. And just to add one more thing about dandelion, they also mention a study that looked at using it as part of a nutritional approach for psoriasis.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Yeah. But it's worth noting that that study was based on a very small number of cases.
So more research is needed there.
Definitely. But it's still an interesting avenue to explore.
Absolutely. Okay, we've got our gut health and our skin health potentially covered with dandelion. Now, what's next on this ingredient list?
Let's see, you've got fennel,
Fennel.
another one that's showing up under both dermal balance and digestive support.
So kind of like dandelion in that way.
Yeah, it seems like they're going for a two birds, one stone approach here.
Right, targeting multiple areas with these ingredients. So what about fennel? What makes it so special?
Well, like dandelion, fennel has a long history of traditional use for various aspects of health.
Okay, so another one that's been around for a while.
Exactly. The references they provide here highlight its general health benefits and its traditional applications for skin, hair, and overall well-being.
So it seems like it has a pretty good reputation for just like promoting health in different ways.
Yeah, it seems to be one of those all-around good guys.
Okay, I like it.
Hmm.
Okay, moving on from our garden variety plants, we have another ingredient here that's a big one in the world of gut health, which is inulin.
Inulin, a classic.
And they've got this listed under digestive support, which, makes sense. We know it's a prebiotic.
It is. It helps feed the good bacteria in your gut, keeps
Right.
them thriving.
Right, keeps them happy and healthy.
Exactly.
But what else is interesting about inulin?
Well, what's particularly interesting here are the studies they mention related to its potential effects on body composition and metabolic health, especially in children who are dealing with obesity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that suggests that it could be beneficial for weight management, potentially.
Well, not just about like digestion and regularity.
No, it seems like it could have a wider impact on metabolism and how our bodies process food and energy.
Fascinating.
And what's funny is that even though it's listed here under digestive support, one of the references actually mentions its use in skincare.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it seems like it could be playing a role in both of those areas, gut health and skin health.
Okay, that's interesting.
It is. And, going back to the Bacillus coagulans we talked about earlier, there's actually research that looked at the combined effect of inulin and that probiotic on bowel regularity, specifically in people who are, struggling with constipation.
Oh, so like they work better together.
That's what it seems like. There seems to be a synergy there.
That's interesting. Like the sum is greater than the parts.
Exactly.
Very cool.
It is cool.
Okay, last one on the initial ingredient list, we have fenugreek, also for digestive support.
What's interesting about fenugreek, based on what they've given us here?
Well, one thing that stands out is that they reference a study in mice that suggests that fenugreek might be able to kind of counter some of the negative effects of a high-fat diet on the gut microbiome.
Oh, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, and there's even a suggestion that it could potentially offer some metabolic benefits as well.
Okay.
But, it's important to remember that this was a study done in mice.
Of course, yeah. So we can't, directly extrapolate those results to humans.
Right, right. Always good to keep that in mind.
Absolutely. But it's still, an interesting area of research. And beyond that, the document also mentions, some broader traditional benefits for, skin, hair, and general health.
Okay, so it sounds like fenugreek has a lot of potential benefits, but more research is definitely needed to confirm those, especially in humans.
I'd agree with that.
All right, so we've covered the initial blend of ingredients. Now, the document has a section that sounds like a key selling point for Prime Biome.
Ooh, I see it.
It's called the Skin Gut Cell Turnover Breakthrough.
Very catchy.
Very catchy. So let's break this down. What are they talking about here?
So they start by explaining the whole concept of skin cell turnover, how your skin is constantly renewing itself.
Right, like shedding old cells and making new ones.
Exactly. And they point out how this process is crucial for, maintaining healthy, youthful-looking skin.
Because if that process slows down,
Right, that's when you start to see signs of aging.
Dullness, wrinkles, all that fun stuff.
Exactly.
So where does Prime Biome fit into all of this?
Well, their main claim here is that by supporting beneficial bacteria in your gut, Prime Biome can actually promote better skin health and, contribute to a more youthful appearance.
So they're connecting gut health to skin health
Exactly.
and like tying that back to the dermal balance ingredients we talked about earlier.
Right. So things like babchi, dandelion, and fennel, they're all playing a role in supporting this skin-gut connection.
And we've talked about this before, right? The gut-skin axis.
We have. It's this fascinating concept that's getting more and more attention in the scientific community.
The idea that the health of your gut can actually show up on your skin.
Exactly. And while this document doesn't go into like the nitty-gritty details of the biological mechanisms involved,
Right.
the fact that this connection exists is, pretty well established.
It is. It is. And it really makes you think about like how interconnected everything in our bodies is.
Mm.
It really does.
All right, let's move on to the next section. This one caught my eye because it talks about healthy weight.
Mm-hmm. Another hot topic these days.
It is, it is. And under healthy weight, they list a few additional ingredients. Let's go through those.
All right, so we have lemon balm, organic Ceylon ginger, organic lion's mane, and slippery elm bark.
Okay, pretty diverse group there. So what's the deal with lemon balm?
Well, some research suggests that it might be helpful for gut motility.
Gut motility. So that's like how well things are moving through your digestive system, right?
Exactly. And that can be relevant for like digestion and potentially even weight management.
Interesting.
It is. And they also mention some potential skin benefits as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So kind of like a dual purpose ingredient there.
Seems so.
All right, what about ginger?
So ginger has actually been studied for its effects on the gut microbiome.
Really? So like how it impacts the balance of bacteria in the gut.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And then we have lion's mane,
Which is,
a type of mushroom. A mushroom.
yeah, it's pretty cool looking actually. It kind of has like these long white cascading spines.
I've seen pictures, yeah. It does look pretty unique. And is it like a medicinal mushroom?
It's often categorized as a medicinal mushroom. Yeah, it has a
Right.
lot of like purported health benefits.
Okay, cool.
It is cool. And then last but certainly not least, we have slippery elm bark.
Slippery elm bark. Now that one, they don't really tell us why it's included for healthy weight.
Nope, not in this document at least.
So we don't know how it fits into the puzzle.
Not based on this information. We'd need to like do some more digging, maybe look into traditional uses or, other research on slippery elm bark.
Okay, so that's one to stay tuned on. Maybe do some research on your own. Now let's connect this healthy weight claim back to some of the ingredients we talked about earlier. We discussed inulin and its potential metabolic benefits.
Oh, right, right. Yes, some of the research on inulin definitely hints at a possible role in like body composition and those kinds of metabolic factors.
Okay, and what about dandelion? We talked about that one earlier as well.
We did. And there was that study that explored its potential effect on inhibiting pancreatic lipase.
Pancreatic lipase. Refresh my memory.
It's an enzyme that helps your body digest fat.
Oh, okay.
So by inhibiting that enzyme, it's possible that dandelion could, potentially play a role in weight management.
Interesting.
It is. But again, more research is definitely needed to confirm that.
Absolutely. Okay, let's switch gears for a moment and talk about the marketing side of things. They offer some free guides, right?
Yeah, they are. With like larger purchases.
Right, so if you buy more, you get some bonus content.
Exactly. They've got one on cellulite and another one on hair health.
Okay, interesting.
It's a pretty standard marketing tactic.
Right.
Incentivize people to spend more.
Makes sense. And they also highlight the different purchasing options. You can buy 1 bottle, 3 bottles, or 6 bottles.
Mm-hmm. But they give you a pretty significant discount if you go for the 6-bottle option.
Right, which they conveniently point out is their recommended option.
And they even say that 96% of customers choose that option.
Wow, 96%. That's a lot.
It is. But you always have to take those kinds of claims with a grain of salt.
Of course, of course.
It's marketing, after all.
It is. But they also offer a satisfaction guarantee, right?
Yes, they do. A 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee.
So you can try it out, and if you're not happy,
You get your money back.
no questions asked.
That's the idea.
Which is, always good from a consumer perspective.
It is. It makes you feel a little more confident about, trying something new.
Absolutely. Okay, the document also has a section that covers some frequently asked questions.
The FAQ section, always helpful.
It is. They've got questions about how Prime Biome works, the money-back guarantee, how many bottles to order, how to use it, and whether it's a one-time purchase.
All the basics.
They do, but they don't actually give us the answers in this document.
Right. They just, list the questions.
So if you want the answers.
You'd have to visit their website or, look for that information elsewhere.
Okay, good to know. And finally, this is really important. They include several disclaimers and important notes that anyone who's considering Prime Biome should definitely read carefully.
Oh, yeah. These are crucial.
Crucial. And the first one is that this information is not a substitute for advice from a healthcare professional.
Right. They're not doctors.
They're not.
So they can't give medical advice.
Exactly. And they also point out that the claims made on their website haven't been evaluated by the FDA.
Which is pretty standard for dietary supplements.
It is.
It's just a reminder that these products aren't subject to the same level of scrutiny as, prescription medications. They haven't gone through the same rigorous testing and approval process.
Okay.
So it's important to be aware of that.
It is. And they also specifically advise pregnant or nursing individuals, as well as anyone with, existing medical conditions, to talk to their doctor before using Prime Biome.
Right. Always a good idea.
Always.
Because certain ingredients in supplements can, potentially interact with medications.
Right. Or they might not be suitable for everyone.
Exactly. So it's best to err on the side of caution and, get your doctor's okay first.
Absolutely. And they also mentioned that the content and the product are provided as is and as available.
Right. Which basically means...
They're not making any guarantees.
Exactly. They're saying, hey, this is what we're offering, but do your own research.
Okay. And it's always a good idea to, consult with healthcare providers. Get a second opinion, a third opinion.
Absolutely. Don't just rely on what the seller is telling you. Do your own due diligence.
And lastly, they note that ClickBank is the retailer for Prime Biome. But that their role as the seller doesn't mean they endorse the product's claims.
Right. So they're basically saying that they're just a platform for, transactions and fulfillment.
Okay, they're not vouching for the product itself. Okay, so to recap our deep dive into this Prime Biome document you sent us, we've explored the various ingredients, looked at some of the research hints around Bacillus coagulans for gut health and inulin as a prebiotic with potential metabolic effects. We also discussed the ingredients they've listed for dermal balance and that whole marketing message connecting gut health and skin health, as well as the ingredients for healthy weight.
Right.
And finally, we touched on their marketing tactics, the satisfaction guarantee, and importantly, those disclaimers. But it's super important to remember that our entire discussion today is based only on this document that you provided.
Right. This is just one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. So to get the full picture, you might want to check out their full website, look at the scientific studies themselves in more detail, and of course, talk to your doctor.
Definitely. Always a good idea to get a second opinion.
Always. All right, so here's a final thought for you to chew on.
Ooh, I like it.
Considering how much this document emphasizes the link between gut and skin health, it makes you wonder, what other aspects of our overall well-being might be influenced by that delicate balance of bacteria we have living inside of us?
Right. It's a fascinating question.
It is. We encourage you to explore the ever-expanding field of microbiome research and really think about its potential impact on our health. Not just, digestion or skin, but everything.
Yeah, it's a whole new world.
It is. And who knows what we'll discover next.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
And it's been a pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious.
And stay healthy.